Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the legendary path of the Crucible Act 8 that just got released yesterday for me. So let's jump in right into it. Now, before I say anything about the fights, if you haven't checked out my Excel planner, I am going to leave a link in the description again so you can check it out and you can plan all of this. I am going to give you at least 12 counters for each fight. Now, I did try my best to give you all the best counters. I double checked every single fight and I also went ahead and get some of my alliance mates to check. Trust me, some of the fights can be done, but they are a bit difficult against different defenders, but the defenders are viable. If so, then you find something that is not going to work, let me know in the comment section and I change it up. But I went through all of these counters twice or thrice myself, and some of the fights you might feel hard, but they are doable playing a specific way. So, having that out of the way, let's talk about the first fight that is going to be the easiest one, that is going to be Hood. So for this one, the nodes are Caltrops, Prey on the Feeble, Prowess Puncture, and Foresight. So basically you keep Hood to an SP1 only, and then you bring in any bleed immune champion, then this can work. If you want to land in an intercept, you can land in an intercept that will give you Fury for 6 seconds, increasing your damage. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine as well. Just wait him out to throw his special one and you're good to go. Now remember, for this Crucible, you can use, it's not rarity lock. So you can use the same champion in a 6-star version and a 7-star version. So just to clarify that. I would always suggest you to use your strikers because they will help you give that extra edge. It might take a little bit more time to switch them around, but they will make the fights much more faster and easier with the extra hits and some of them with extra abilities. Now fight number 2 is going to be against a Red Skull with steady perseverance, so he will go stun immune after he throws a special, so be careful about that. And there's also debuff, stun and bleed that is converted into a poison. So if you apply a bleed on a Red Skull and you are going to stun the opponent with a parry, you are going to convert that into poison, and he has poison vulnerability. So ideally you need a champion that has poison or it has bleeds, and the bleeds can be converted to poisons with stuns. So I've given you quite a few options with all of them that have poisons available, but Archangel is such a great counter. Big thank you to my alliance mate who just pointed that out to me, so I just changed my plan and I brought in Archangel. Look, now remember Red Skull SP1, you have to dash back twice on the second punch. So let's try to look that out. Let's push him to an SP1 first. I'm just gonna run out the stun immunity. Here we are. Now I'm gonna wait for him to throw his special one, with all the poisons doing extra damage. So this is going to be the punch number 1, this is 2, and then you dash back twice and use a heavy attack. Always dash back twice and you use a heavy attack that is going to connect. So that is how you're going to counter this fight. And remember, he is going to reduce your ability accuracy, so you won't be able to stun him. So you need a champion that is going to be ability accuracy immune like Archangel, so you can parry reliably. Next up, we are going to have a very easy fun fight that is going to be Stryfe. That is fight number 3, and the nodes are going to be Biotic Adoption Spike. So if you don't have an Incinerate on him, he is going to apply Ruptures on you. And there is also Incinerate vulnerability, so he takes extra damage whenever there is an Incinerate applied. And there is Scare Stiff, so if you don't hit the opponent within 8 seconds, you are going to be rooted in your place. And also there is Transducer, so you lose power continuously while in presence of the defender. Now this is a very simple fight. The best option are going to be your Incinerate champions that will stop the defender from applying Ruptures to you. And you can if you get a Rupture immune champion, you can also get this done, because the whole thing about this fight is going to be the Ruptures that are going to deal damage to you. Stryfe special 1 and special 2 both are easily evadable, so I'm just going to keep him to an SP1 and try to get my SP2s done with my Sunspot. So pretty straightforward, easy fight, nothing too difficult about this. It's one of the easier fights of the whole Crucible. So just before you know it, we're gonna bring him down, just making sure that I have enough of my solar charges, so when I get to an SP2, when I throw that out, I am not sitting at 0 charges, so I can deal quite a fair amount of damage. And with the last special 2, we take him out. Fight number 4 is going to be against a War Machine. Now here you will need a villain champion because of the node superiority villain or scoundrel, I think. There is also Ironclad, Defensive Transference, and there is also Mystic Ward. Ignore all of that, just bring in a villain champion. And the way this works is you need to have debuffs on you. All the debuffs that you have on you, you are going to return damage to War Machine. Remember, there is going to be armors on War Machine, so the way it works, if War Machine has armors, he's going to deal return damage to you. But you can return that damage back to him if you use a villain champion and have more than 3 debuffs on you. Immortal Abomination is by far the best choice for this one. Venom also works super well. So I've given you quite a few villain champions that should really destroy a War Machine. I am just using an Abomination Immortal here because he has his poisons on him. The debuffs can be of the same type also, that doesn't matter. All I'm trying to do is to keep pushing a War Machine to an SP2 because I already have my debuffs. Now if you're bringing a villain that does not have debuffs on themselves, which most of them don't, you need to trigger SP1s from War Machine, because on SP1s, the War Machine will apply power lock on you, or like power suppression on you, I think. Yes, it's power suppression, and with those power suppression debuffs, you can return any kind of damage that War Machine does to you when you hit him. So yeah, just a villain champion, 3 debuffs on yourself, and you should get through this fight quite easy. So far, the fights have been super easy and super fun. Black Panther Civil War. Now this is going to be the first fight that is really going to test you and your patience. You really need a champion that has true sense or true strike that can bypass auto block, otherwise this fight is going to be hell. Because if you don't have auto block, Black Panther is going to keep auto blocking you, and every time he's going to auto block or you hit him in the block, you're gonna give him an armor. And at 5 armors, he's gonna explode those armors and deal damage to you with explosive personality, and before you know it, you will lose a lot of health. Now, the best options are going to be champions that can bypass your auto block or have true sense or true strike. For example, Hercules, Red Goblin, Angela, Odin, Vox, Scream. But then again, if you're going to do this fight with Scream, you might wonder how I'm going to get my first Undermine. So that is going to be a bit of a challenge. But once you get that, it works out. Same goes with your Vox. So you have to get hit once, so you get an armor on you, and once you have an armor, you can dash back. Because of buff synthesis, you convert that armor into true strike, and that gives you opening to get an undermine on your Vox. So those are the things. Again, the counters that I've mentioned, they work, but there are specific ways of playing it. It's really hard to get 12 easy working counters for every fight, but I tried my best, guys. Now, the more important thing is you need a champion that continuously generates armor on its own. Because what happens on this fight, that because you're dexing so much, you might run out of armors, and because you will run out of armors, you will not be able to convert all of those armors into true strike. So you might come to a position in the middle of a fight where you don't have an armor up to convert into true strike, and you cannot attack Black Panther because he's going to auto block, and you cannot parry him because he's going to reflect the stun on you, so you're going to be stuck in no man's land. So Gorr can also work with this Undermine, just light ending attacks, and you should be good. Ironheart can also work because she gets her armor regenerated every 12 seconds. She does not depend on hitting the opponent or parrying, so that can kind of work. So you mostly tech champions that regenerate their armor over time should be good for this fight. Same goes for your Ultron, Howard the Duck, Nimrod, and Colossus. Now Colossus can do this fight, but he can be a bit difficult. I've done the fight myself, but because he has class advantage, you can bring him, but I would say stay clear of Colossus. But if you don't have an option, he still does work for this fight. It might cost you 1 or 2 revives, but yeah, you can use these champions. This is fight number 1 difficult for the Crucible. She-Hulk is going to be fight number 6, and the nodes here are going to be Newton's Law, Fuel the Fire, Unstoppable Force, Clean State, and Immunity to Shock. So this fight is all about controlling She-Hulk's Unstoppable, but the problem is she gets debuff immune. But don't worry, you can still control her Unstoppable if during the Unstoppable you can intercept her. Because if you intercept her during the Unstoppable, there is a passive slow applied on her for 15 seconds. It's quite long, so that can help you. But why go for that when you have champions that can control, that have buffs that can control the Unstoppable? I'm talking about your Valkyrie. Valkyrie has those spears that controls the Unstoppable. I am talking about your Shield. She has Grit. I'm talking about your Beta Ray Bill. He has Grit as well. So any champion that has Grit will work super well here. Same goes for your Dust. She can work also. Now you can use champions with slow and they can work too, but remember, when She-Hulk will use a special attack, she is going to go debuff immune and she's going to remove that slow. So you might have to dance around during the Unstoppable phase, so the fight will be longer. Again, the fight is not difficult, let me be clear about that. But because of Unstoppable, it might be prolonged. Or you can bring in champions that have assisted intercepts. So for example, you can bring a Ghost. With Ghost, you can easily intercept Hulk. Also, you can use Elsa Bloodstone. She literally has a revolver hit that intercepts. Also, same goes as Stryfe. So anybody with invisibility you can use and easily intercept She-Hulk during the Unstoppable, and you can get that slow and you can make this fight easier. So I hope this kind of helps navigating this fight. Again, it's not really a difficult fight, just a little technical. Now next up we are going to have a Mr. Sinister. That is fight number 7 with Arc Overload. So every I think 10 seconds he's going to get in the regen and armor up, and because he has Vigorous Assault on him, he is going to go unblockable. There's also Tech Ascendancy level 3 and Return Policy and Technical Suppression. So basically you have to bring in your tech champions and play around it, somebody who has heal block, otherwise you won't be able to control him because of his own regen, and also he regenerates on crits, so he can be super annoying to deal with. Remember, if you bring in tech champions that have a lot of debuffs, they can also work because of technical suppression. When you apply 4 to 5 debuffs, that is going to apply a heal block on Mr. Sinister as well, so your Shuris and everything also work. But to be honest, don't go there. Just bring in a robot champion and be super safe. As we know that Mr. Sinister uses an SP1 on which he applies those degens, but those degens do not apply on robots. So it's easier for you to just go in and bring in a robot and just play around with it. In hindsight, if I had to choose, I would choose a robot champion as well. It was quite difficult to deal with through Red Skull, but then again, didn't have a choice. They already picked him up. So yeah, keep the heal block up and bring in a robot and you should be good with this fight. Difficult fight number 2, that is going to be a Diablo. Now I'm going to use a Dr. Doom. I was under the impression Dr. Doom is going to nail this fight because I remember doing this fight and just cheesing him with the Doom corner slaps. But I forgot that here we have only one champion allowed, and there I used to have Mr. Fantastic with me that would guarantee always me getting to Doom slap him with the shock debuff. But anyway, the way this works is there is going to be Riot. He's going to start in unblockable, and when you knock him down, that's going to be converted to unstoppable. So what essentially you need to do is to bait out his heavy attack or a special attack or intercept him during the unblockable phase and push him to a special 1. When he does go to a special 1, you throw your specials and you knock him down. When you throw him with the special and knock him down, he's going to get unstoppable. When he does have an unstoppable on him, then you can just use parry, hit, parry, hit. Do not knock him down while he's unstoppable when you don't have a bar of power. That is very important because you want to convert that unblockable to an unstoppable very quick. So this fight does not show you how actually the fight should go, but that also gives you an indication that if you bring in Mystic champions that have Stagger or Nullify or Fate Seal, those are going to work super well here. I've given you quite a few options that you can use here. Also, there is going to be Biotic Venom. So if you use a Shock champion, you can also get through this fight. Bleeds will not be applied on you. But if you don't have that, the bleeds will be applied on you and that is going to deal damage. But the main thing you need to worry about here is going to be your Riot. So just be able to deal with that. Remember, when you have Unstoppable, do not use a heavy until you get a bar of power. Because as soon as you use a heavy attack and knock him down, he goes unstoppable. You can use a special attack and knock him down again to convert it back to unstoppable. I hope that makes sense. And as I told you, Shock champions work also super well here because there is Shock vulnerability on Diablo. I've seen this fight literally destroyed by a Black Widow Deadly Origin. So that all of those work. But I brought in a Dr. Doom because I thought I could Doom slap him, but I forgot that it requires Mr. I think Fantastic Synergy, if I'm not wrong. Well, next up we have Cycle Man with Sixth Sense, Impatience, Concussive Resolution, Hard Knock Life, and Rich Get Richer. So whichever defender will have more buffs on them, they will gain more power. But remember, if you hit Psycho Man in the block, he is going to apply concussions on you, and those concussions really hurt. And top of it, if he goes into his blue mode, he will also reduce your ability accuracy. So you either bring a champion whose ability accuracy cannot be reduced, or you bring in a champion that have a lot of buffs so you can get rid of the auto block that he can apply on you because of Sixth Sense. Now I brought in a Gladiator and I was just simply using my parry and heavy and just building up my confidence charges. I did not want anything else to do with it until I get to an SP2. Once I had my SP2, I know that I have my vigilance active. He cannot auto block me, so I am not worried about that. So if you bring in a similar champion, wait it out until you get your vigilance, true sense, or true strike that can bypass the auto block, and then you're good. For example, Angela, Odin, Scream, all of those champions, they work. You just have to play a bit slowly. Any champions with more buffs on them like Venom and Hyperion would also work, because the more buffs you have, the percentage of you getting auto block is reduced on your basic attack, so you can just simply play through it. Gladiator for me was the option here. Just played it super slow, just build up my confidence charges, parry and heavy, and just throw your specials in the end. And once you have enough confidence charges, the damage is just nuts. Now this next fight is going to be super interesting because you have a Corvus Glaive that deals a lot of damage. Now the nodes are going to be Steady Build Up Fury, Rust and Ruin, Feats of Energy, Footloose, and Wax On and Wax Off. So whenever he will use a special attack, he will go unstoppable and also will have an evade charge. And apart from that, whenever he will gain a bar of power, he is also going to gain a power gain, increasing and pushing him to an SP2. So you just have to be careful about that. Rust and Ruin, if you're going to parry him or if he hits you in your block, he's going to apply armor break on you. And if you have more than 3 debuffs on you, he is going to gain a fury on him. So that is essentially it. The difficult part of this fight is to navigate his Footloose, and also how to navigate the power gain on him, because he's going to throw a lot of specials. So I brought in a Dragon Man for one of two reasons. One, if you apply an armor break on him, he will apply degen on the opponent, and secondly, on the SP1 he can apply slow. So I don't have to worry about the evade, I don't have to worry about the unstoppable. I can simply go in and attack Corvus Glaive, so he just works out perfect for me for this fight. But for other options, you can typically use any Mystic champion that has a Fate Seal, Nullify, or Stagger, or even if you have Shrug Offs, like I've done this fight with Kingpin as well back in the day, because I keep shrugging off, I keep increasing my damage, so that also works out for me. Every now and then you can save up an SP3, so if you're getting cornered, you can throw that out as well. So all in all, not really a difficult fight. Just remember to keep the debuffs below 3 to avoid the fury, and armor break immune champions will work also best. So somebody like Thing will also work for this fight. But then again, it might take a little bit more time. Again, guys, these counters, they do work, but they take a little bit of time, and specific champions against specific RPG element, it takes a little bit different way to fight those. So we are done with this fight. Just another one SP1. Now he's gonna throw one SP2, and here we are just on the corner with the extra damage. And that is how you fight Corvus Glaive on the Crucible. Next defender is going to be an Ebony Maw. Now this is going to be all about Miss, Degen, and also Vulture. So basically you need champions that can avoid his Vulture, or you can reliably parry to knock him down, and or Degen resistant champions. To be honest, just a regular Ebony Maw fight, not really difficult. Just you do some extra damage on heavy attacks, so try to spam them more. And yes, you will get 1 or 2 Degens on you, but that's fine. You're gain your health back once you're done with the fight anyway. Just try to keep Ebony Maw to an SP1 because that's much easier to evade and gives you a better opening. The SP2 can be really annoying and high damaging, especially at these health and hit points. So I'm just brought in a Human Torch. I went in with my pre-fight, and yeah, I'm just slowly taking him down. I'm making sure that I knock him down so I break his concentration so the Vulture does not get to me. Although it doesn't matter because I'm always above 10 temperature, so that is going to help. But it's a pretty straightforward fight with the right counter. Now next up is going to be Proxima Midnight. Now this fight is going to be super annoying, and you have to like really be careful doing this fight because every time you apply a non-damaging debuff from Proxima Midnight, she is going to go unblockable. Now imagine that throwing her special 1 or especially special 2 with that unblockable up, the damage is going to be insane. So that's one thing. The second thing, she's going to get protection on her every 12 seconds. So you have to knock her down with a special attack or a heavy attack to remove that protection. So that is going to be important. And if that wasn't enough, her specials are enhanced. They will do extra damage. And there's also energy adoption ice. So she is going to apply cold snaps on you. So the easier way to do this fight is to bring in a cold snap immune champion. So I've given you quite a few options that you can use. Shrug off champions will also work because the cold snap will be shrugged off. Any debuff she applies on you will be shrugged off. So you can use either champions with the cold snap immunity, or you can also use champions with shrug off. Magneto is also another one. So pick one champion and you should be good. I went with Deathless Thanos because I didn't know better. So I had to play this fight a little carefully and a little slowly, evading those specials. And every now and then when I could let her hit in my block and try to hold on with my debuffs on Proxima Midnight, but that's not going to work because every now and then the protection will come back, and that will remove all the debuffs that I've applied on her. But that's okay. I eventually managed to scratch from this fight, but of course there are better counters available, and I would suggest you it's better to bring in a skilled champion that has Purify, and you can knock down with SP1s or specials, kind of somebody like Kingpin or somebody like Elsa Bloodstone. That would be a better choice, but then again, it's upon you. Next up is going to be a Wasp with Cold Shoulder, Kinetic Transference, Ticking Time Bomb, and Special Burst Lockdown. So whenever you will parry, she will have a charge on you, and if you have those two charges and you parry in again, that is going to detonate and give damage to you. You have to make sure that you take care of her evade. So any champion that can work around her evade can work super well here. I've given you quite a few options that you can use. I just brought in an Okoi and literally destroyed her, but I'm sure there are other options that you can use around, or you can just hit inner block and deal that damage. So just be wary about that and you should be good here. I remember this fight back in the day of Act 8. That was a really difficult one to deal with because of all the unblockable he gets and all the protection he gets, and you have to knock him down to deal damage. And on top of it, there is combo party as well. So if you get hit, all of those are going to detonate and deal damage to you. But back then we didn't have She-Hulk. Now we have a Deathless She-Hulk in our ranks, and she makes this fight super easy. To be honest, you can use any champion that can kind of apply those taunts on him, so he can keep throwing those specials and then has some kind of compounding damage. So Star-Lord can also work here. Even just keep Hercules to an SP1 and keep doing your damage. Don't worry about the unblockable, as long as you push Hercules to an SP1 and you should be good. Now, the way that Deathless She-Hulk is working here, because I'm applying all of those traumas, my damage is increasing, and that also acts as a taunt and gives a lot of damage, damage to me, and also taunts Hercules, so he can throw those specials out easily, and I don't have to worry about finding an opening. So that would be the way to go. Bring a champion that can kind of taunt out or trigger his special ones often, and then you can just create your distance, do your thing, throw your specials, push him to an SP1, and just keep repeating that loop until he goes to 0 and he goes unblockable, and you should be good. Now, I've given you quite a few options that can work. So Nico Minoru can work, your Black Widow Clairvoyant can work, you control the buff so you can get this fight done as well. I've seen this fight done with Tigra as well, with Werewolf by Night as well. So it's upon you what champion you're going to use. You can also use in a Kushala for blocking the unblockables. So there are plenty of options. To pick the best one you can, but this is going to be a tough fight. And the next one is Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen, and this fight reminded me of the Epic of Pain Heimdall fight, but without the unstoppable, so I can knock down Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen quite easily. Now, the way this works, there is persistent pressure, so it's good if you use a mutant champion that has a lot of prowess, because I think every 10 seconds Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen will go unstoppable, and the duration of it depends on how many prowess or buffs that you have on your attacker. So if you bring in somebody like Bishop, or if you bring in somebody like Storm, this fight is much more easier to deal with and much more faster, because the unstoppable does not get into play. But with Apocalypse, we don't have much of those buffs on us, so that's why I have to run out the unstoppable. So also I have to really time my special attacks, because the animation of my special attacks is crazy. So here I just threw an SP2. You know what? I'll knock him down. I wasn't able to before because I'm unstoppable. I took quite a bit of damage. So the whole goal of this fight is that whenever you will hit the opponent, he is not going to take damage instantly, but he is going to store in that purple battery. Then you can notice the store of it with the number that is ticking up. So once you're ready, you can knock him down with a special attack, and once you do knock him down with that, all of that battery will detonate with an extra damage. So that is the whole concept about the fight. You can use any mutant champion. To be honest, I would suggest you to use mutant champions that have passive stuns, so you don't have to worry about the shrug off. Like you notice, Daredevil Hell's Kitchen is shrugging off Apocalypse stun, which he shouldn't do, but okay, anyway, that's happening. So Storm should work really well, and TW should work really well here. You can also use Onslaught, so plenty of options for this fight. It might take a little bit longer because of the assault battery, but you can get it done, so that's okay. One of not the difficult fights, but the annoying long ones. So at this point, we are at fight number 15 of the Crucible, and we still have around 2/3 of them to go. There are total 64 fights. So let me just explain you very quick. I've tried to give you 12 counters for each fight. Now all of them counters worked. I've got them checked with quite a few people. But if you still find something that does not work, let me know in the comment section and I'll get it changed. But remember, some counters you might feel will not work, but there is a specific way to play around them, so just be careful about that. Anyway, if you haven't yet planned your path, I will also leave a link of the Excel planner in the description down below. Check it out and you can plan all of your path before you even jump in. And yeah, I hope all of those resources are enough to help you. And right after this, we are going to jump into the first boss fight, that is going to be Scytalis. So I'll see you there, guys. Oh, the throwback. She was probably my favorite boss up until Glyphon because of her design and everything. So let me explain you very quickly how it works. She is going to throw a special attack depending on the phase. To check what kind of special attack you want her to throw is going to be dependent on the purple icon with the number on it, either number 1 or number 2. Now the goal of this fight is whenever Black Widow is going to throw that special attack, that specific one that shows underneath her bar of power, she's going to throw a trap on the floor. Now once the trap is down, it takes a little while to activate. Once it activates, you just have to push her into the trap. In phase 1, you can push her into it with basic attacks, but in phase 2 and 3, you have to push her into the trap with either a special attack or a heavy attack. So you have to wait for the trap to be active and then you can go in. Now, if you use your 5 attack combos ending with a medium, she's going to evade you and she's going to throw a beam at you. If you block that beam, you're going to get power gain, so that is a mechanic to kind of help you gain power faster. Now you notice we are in phase 2 and we have to push her to an SP2, and as soon as she throws an SP2, notice the trap is taking longer to trigger, but that's okay. You wait for it out, and then when she is trapped, you notice that the armor is broken and we can deal all sorts of damage. Now I've brought in a Cyclops because he's just crazy with all of his crits and all of his prowess. So basically you need a mutant champion here that has a lot of prowess, especially for the end phase. The rest of the fight can be done without, but the prowesses will help you deal more damage and take out Scytalis faster. So I think we are in phase 3, so we can use either a heavy attack or a special attack to push her into the trap. And here we go, she is trapped into it. And now we can throw our specials to take her out. Now I have an SP3 ready, I'm going to use that as well. So simply put, you're going to use your 5-hit combos, so you can push Scytalis to a SP1 or SP2 depending on what phase you're in, that you can identify with the blue icon with the number on it. Once you use a specific special attack, she's going to set a trap, and the trap will get active with more and more time depending on what phase you're in. Once the trap is set, wait for it to get active. You will notice it's taking quite a bit of time, and once it's active, you can simply push her into the trap using a heavy attack or a special attack, and then you can deal damage. And champions with prowesses would work better, as Cyclops has just taken him out in only 2 minutes. So if you've made up till here, congratulations, you are 1/4 of the way done and you're passed through all of 8.1 bosses, and now we are starting 8.2. Then the first one is going to be a vision with power armor, stalwart shield, tunnel vision, cold turkey, and gifted with ability accuracy cannot be reduced. Now this is a regular vision fight, to be honest, with extra kind of falter, so any miss counter champion will work. I'm just using a Magneto who's a cheat code. All I'm going to do is to keep building up my prowess, and once I have my SP3 and 40 prowess, one special attack should be enough to take vision out. I was just lucky to pull a 4 to 5 gem from the last month's quest. So I just used him on Magneto to take him to rank 5. So that kind of works out for me. But again, any anti-robotic champion should be good here. Just bring them in and you should be alright getting through this. Remember, if you are going to Purify Vision, then is going to deal you damage. But if you armor break him, you should be fine. Anyway, just bring in anti-robotic champions, and once you have your armor shatter on him, he is going to also disable the nodes. And next up, we are going to have a Sigil Witch with Superiority Underdog and also Outburst, Special Fate Seal, Underhanded Comment, Return Policy, and Gifted. Now, this fight is mostly to bring in your Cosmic Champions that have buffs. So because when you nullify the buffs, you're going to get immunity to nullify and stagger on you, and that is going to help you against Scarlet Witch. But you can use any champion. I just brought in my Spider Woman. She is a rank 4, 6, 200 because she's nullify and stagger immune anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. But still, I get all of those buffs that, even if she nullifies them, I'm going to get some extra advantage out of it. But to be honest, pretty straightforward fight. I just use my SP2 and then I'm going to just throw my SP1s and that's going to deal damage. You can bring in, to be honest, any science champion and you should be good. But if you don't have a science champion option, you can bring in Cosmic with a lot of buffs and you should be good as well. As long as you keep Scarlet Witch to an SP1, this fight should go super easy. Now, this is one of my most fun and frantic fights because it's so quick. You have to make sure that you transfer. So whenever you will hit the opponent, you will get whiplash charges on yourself. You can transfer those whiplash charges on the opponent when you use a special attack and knock him down. But you can also refresh them if you intercept the opponent. So you need a champion that have easy access to intercepts, and who better than Kitty Pryde. But you also have to take care that from Black Panther that there is going to be a fight or flight unblockable. So you have to play around that as well. But you can use that to your advantage as well. If you create your distance and you will get the unstoppable and you can use that to force like an intercept on the opponent. But the whole thing of the fight is just keep transferring those whiplash charges on Black Panther, and when they expire, they're going to deal damage, helping you kill him faster. But remember, every time you hit the opponent, you're going to get whiplash charges, which you can refresh with intercepts and you can transfer with a special knockdown. So yeah, pretty fun fight. Just bring in a champion that has easy intercepts, got some kind of invisibility, and you can get through this fight quite easily. If you don't have an intercept champion, just build up 10 to 15 of those whiplash charges, use a special attack, and that will transfer and you should be good. Next up is going to be Domino with Be Like Water. So if you're going to parry her, she is going to be unblockable. So it's better not to parry her. Let her hit you in your block and give you a heavy opening. You should be good. If you knock her down with evasive maneuver, she is going to get an evade charge. So just be careful about that. And she has shock vulnerability, and when there is shock, she cannot evade, and that is going to help you. So bring in your best shock champions and you should get through this fight quite easy. There is also light them up, so shock and incinerate both will be helpful because they will stop her from evading. And with shock vulnerability, she takes extra damage from shocks. It's better to bring a shock champion. I just saved Shuri only for this fight because I hate fighting Domino prolonged, and before we know it, Shuri just destroyed Domino. Fight number 21 is going to be Elektra. Now, back in the day when we didn't have many Vulture counters or miss counters, this fight was really hell to deal with because she would return all the damage back to you during the Vulture because of the Daunted node. And Pleasure to Burn, Incinerate Vulnerability. You were encouraged to bring in champions that are Incinerate, that can apply Incinerate, which is still the case now. You can bring them, but let me tell you a secret. The easiest way to get through this fight without breaking a sweat is to bring in champions that can counter her Vulture. So I just brought in a Spiral because she is immune to Vulture, so I don't need to worry. It's just a very simple Elektra fight from there on onwards. Just push her to an SP2. It's much easier to evade. Another great option here is going to be Prowler. He's like tailor-made for this fight. And also a champion like Ironheart would be super cool. Now we have a lot of options, but before this, when this fight came out, there weren't many options, and like this fight really used to make you suffer. Alrighty, the next fight is going to be a Deadpool X-Force. He's going to have Aggression, Regen, Reinvigorated Fury, Infectious Wrath, and Redoubled Determination, and Confusing Special. So basically, when he applies debuffs on you more than 3, your controls will be reversed. And also, if you don't hit him every 2 seconds, he's going to gain a regen that is going to stack. And if you let him not attack him for like a while, you will notice that he will regen back all of his health. There's going to be Indomitable that will help you to apply heal block once you apply different debuffs on him. But to be honest, you can control that. Just keep Deadpool to an SP1 and that will give you openings and you should be good. I'm just using a Jack-o'-lantern here because I don't want to worry about the reverse controls. And with all of those extra debuffs, I can easily activate the Indomitable and control the regions also on Deadpool Expo. So should be a quick fight, giving you quite a few options. To be honest, any heal block champion should work really well for this one. Now, Joe Fixit was the first fight that cost me a revive, not because that, it's a bad fight, I just played super bad. So, there's going to be Ebb and Flow knockdown, so whenever you will knock down, the protection will be removed, and also there's bleed vulnerability, so he takes extra damage from bleed vulnerability. There is mighty charge, so whenever he will dash in, he will remove all the debuffs off of him. But the annoying one here is going to be cramping. So whenever there is a weakness applied on you and you hit the opponent, you take damage and you are power drained as well. Kind of like electric defense, that is for armor up, this is for cramping. But the best way I think to deal with this is to bring in champions that have easy access to Purify or they have easy access to Shrug Off. I went in a Nick Fury, which I understood halfway that is going to be trouble because I need to literally knock him down and it takes 2 to 3 hits. So within those 2 to 3 hits, I can lose a lot of health. But that's okay because Nick Fury has a second life. I was able to bring Joe Fixit down to like 5%, and then I had to revive and come back in and take him out. But if you're going to do this fight, I would suggest you champions like Kingpin, who can easily shrug off the weakness. It's all about the shrug off. You can also use somebody like Crossbones. Bleed champions will be needed. So Chilt is a really good option for you. You can also use Okoi. Any champion with Purify, or you can remove the debuffs faster, would be really cool here. Baron Zemo would be a great option here. You can also use Agent Venom. So the concept here is a champion with bleed, a champion that can easily shrug off or purify would be the way to go against your Fixit. You don't have the weakness on you, you will not take damage from cramping, and you should be good. So I think I almost got him here, but then you threw a special and I died. If I had an SP2 hereby, I would have gotten him. I think I ate an SP3 at 3% and I died here, so I had to come back again and take him out with the same champion. Fight number 24 is going to be a Nimrod, and if you blink, you will miss it. So there is going to be Steady Preservance, so after special tag, Nimrod is going to go Stun Immune. There's Arcane Zeal, Divine Barrier, and Do Not Disturb. So he will go into cycles of Nullify Immunity and then non-nullify immunity. So all you need to do is to build up to a special 2 with long shot and wait for the immunity to go away before you throw that SP2. I just threw that a little early there, and I am not running Mystic Dispersion. If I had a Mystic Dispersion, I would have finished this fight so much faster. So right here, just one SP2 and that was enough to take out Nimrod. So use any champion that can take advantage of the buff. So next up is going to be a Ronan. There is going to be Cosmic Avalanche, Rising Sun, Give Me Shelter, and Be Like Water. Now this fight can be super annoying if you don't bring in the right counter. So let me explain. Be Like Water. Whenever you apply a debuff on Ronan, he's going to go unblockable. Give Me Shelter. He is going to auto block your basic attacks unless you have a lot of armors on you, for a lot of buffs on you. For every buff you have, the chance to auto block you on a basic attack is reduced. And if that wasn't enough, there's Rising Sun. So every time you hit him, you are going to gain a Fury on you. But once you get above 10 Furies, you are going to get Degens on you. So I did not pay attention to the Degens, but luckily I was running Hercules, so I can do that. I can go into my immortality phase and take him. But all in all, it's not a difficult fight. The difficult part here is you really don't want to get hit by the specials, because remember, you're gaining buffs every time you're going to hit him, and if he throws a special, and with this stick ability, you will be stun locked, and he's going to throw a special again. You're just going to die there. So make sure you bring in the right champion. I just saved Hercules. It was just lying around, so I bring him here. But that's good because that kind of helped me because of the degen. I don't have to worry about it and immortality. I'm just gonna gain all of my health back in the next fight anyway. So remember at the start of the video, I told you that you might feel some of the options are not the best options against some of the defenders, but they work? Well, this is an example for that. Silver Sable against Scorpion. Now on paper, everybody will say that this is not going to work. Yes, granted, it will take a lot more time and it will be a more headache, and I wouldn't advise you if you were doing this your run, but it kind of works. All I need to do is to make sure that I have that disorient on Scorpion and he will not evade me. Now if I counter his evade, I counter this fight. Yes, I could do extra damage if I'm able to apply any kind of debuffs. I agree on that. But the more important part is that you take care of the evade and everything else take care of itself. Yes, it will also help if I have Shrug Off Champion, because I don't want those debuffs on me when he throws the specials with those. I don't want those calcifiers on me, so I don't give the unblockable to Scorpion. Yes, the fight would have been much easier, but then again, I didn't have an option for this Scorpion, so I went with Silver Sable. So, but if you ask me what is going to be the best option, hands down Shang-Chi and Okoi will be the best options for this one. Also Kingpin would be a great option. To be honest, I think Elsa Bloodstone should also work. After the first evade, she will apply, instead of Incinerate, she will apply Cold Snap, so she should also work. But then, I'm here to show you that Silver Sable can also work if you don't have an option. You just have to apply your anti-evade disorient with your heavy attack. and just jump around during the unstoppable, and you will deal enough damage to take him out. So I was able to take him out and get this fight done. So yeah, but I would not suggest you to bring Silver Saber or any champion that has shock to deal with Scorpion. Focus on the anti-evade and the shrug off, and you should be good for this fight. Now, next up is a Morningstar, and I would highly recommend you to bring a champion that is immune to your cold snap and is also kind of bleed immune. That is very important. Otherwise, you're going to like really struggle in this fight. So champions like Colossus are going to be amazing. Iceman is going to be great. Ghost is going to be great. You can convert all of those debuffs into like Furies. Prowler should be a good one too, but you have to play around. No, I think he's bleed immune, so yeah, that works. Warlock is a good option as well. Photon should be a good option as well. The whole thing is that you will notice that underneath my health bar, I'm going to gain cold snap every 8 seconds. Now, because I'm immune, those cold snappers not going to stack. Those really stack, and whenever you will block Morningstar, those are going to detonate after a timer, and you have to intercept to transfer them to Morningstar. So it becomes like a very frantic fight. So why do all of that? Just bring in the champion that is immune to cold snap, and you don't have to worry about the cold snaps at all. You remove it from the equation, and you just play a normal fight against Morningstar. The only thing you will need is to bring in the bleed champion and you're good to go. Now, if you don't have a champion that is cold snap immune or energy damage immune, like for example, your Luke Cage, then you will have to play around those cold snap. But yeah, simple, quick fight, right champion, and Morningstar should go down. Alrighty, next up we have a Masacre with Biohazard, so we need a champion that is immune to or resistant to bleed, so here comes in Mr. Sinister. There's also Palette Cleanser, so whenever you will gain a bar of power, you are going to give Masacre a Purify buff, and also there is no hit mercy, so when you knock him down, he's going to get a cruelty buff for 8 to 10 seconds, and there's going to be heavy assault, so there will be extra damage dealt to the opponent and you if either one of you is clipped by a heavy attack. So pretty easy champion for me here. I've brought in a Mr. Sinister. Just use a parry and heavy, and then simply just run it out. You're not going to take damage because all of the critical damage is going to be healed back and you'll be in full health. So every now and then when there is no cleanse, just use a parry and heavy, and just prolong that stun to deal some extra damage, and then whenever you have an SP1 out, you can throw that out, and it's a pretty simple degen fight. Again, all the different champions that I've given you, all of them work. It's more about the RP, the understanding element of this fight. Just parry and heavy champions will literally destroy it. So your Archangels, your Apocalypse, your Colossus, your Onslaughts, all of those champions work super well here. You just have to make sure that they should be bleed immune at least to deal with the Biohazard. Alrighty, next up is going to be a Peni Parker with Backboot Brawler, Pumping Iron, Foresight, and Mighty Charge. So with Mighty Charge, whenever she will dash in, she's going to remove all of her buffs, and you cannot parry, so you have to use the reparry technique. Foresight, if you evade her, you're going to gain an extra fury for a little to deal some extra damage. There's Pumping Iron, so she's going to auto block, but the damage that you can deal to her is reduced by 60%, but that percentage is reduced for every buff on you have on you. So bring in champions with extra buffs and you should be dealing 100% damage. Now, the most important thing here is just bring in cosmic champions that are immune to powered burn element, and you should be good. That can remove the shield very fast from Peni Parker. So your if you want to go the unblockable route, you can use Adam Warlock, and you can also use with those all of those extra furies. Odin can come in handy. Hercules is there, or you can also use your Gallon Serpent. There are plenty of options that can bypass the auto evade or hit in the block to Peni Parker and remove the shield. I just happen to use Hulkling because I just love Hulkling. I think he was the original counter created by MCOC against Peni Parker, so I just used him to take Peni Parker out. So annoying fight number 4 because I thought I was running Mystic's Dispersion in my deck, but I wasn't, and I wasn't able to gain a bunch of power to just go in and spam my specials. So if you're here, you need a champion that can control all the buffs. I would say a better champion would be someone with neutralize instead of stagger. So I'm talking about like Tigra, Viken, Rintra. Those will be the better options for this Sersi instead of somebody with just stagger or nullify, because there's a lot of buffs to be controlled. So I think Fate Seal would be the better way to go, or you can go with somebody that applies buff immunity on the defender. So currently there are only 2 champions. There's Black Widow Clairvoyant on her SP2, and there's also Nico Minoru. She can do that as well. Or if you want to have a better time, you can also bring in a Mojo. He will reduce the buff timers, and every time he's going to remove a buff on the opponent, he is going to apply those degens. So there are quite a few options you can play with. You can do the long shot thing is here as well. You can use Archangel, or even you can use Werewolf by Night. So there are quite a few options available. Symbiote Supreme in hindsight without your Mystic Dispersion wasn't the best option. So that's why it took me too long, and I died as well, and I had to come back. So it cost me my second revive here. But I hope you understand the fight. It's better to keep Sersi to an SP1 only. I mean, both specials can be evaded, so just be wary about that. The unblockable with the specials is a bad combo when she has the regen, so just have to play around it. And the final fight before the Bahamet boss is going to be a Kitty Pryde with aggression prowess, oscillate, and also quick spark and hot and bothered with tech ascendancy level 3. So your tech champions will gain extra damage. It's typically a very simple Kitty Pryde fight with an extra thing of whenever she will apply incinerate on you, your ability accuracy will be reduced and you won't be able to kind of use your stuns and everything. Anyway, I'm bringing in Guardian. You know, Guardian is amazing when his armor is up and he has a lot of energy resistance, so I don't have to really worry about all of those incinerate debuffs on me. So just bring in any incinerate tech champion and you should be good. I'm focusing on tech champions because you will get extra damage because of tech ascendancies, and it's a very simple fight with Kitty Pryde. You can keep her to an SP1 or an SP2. You should be good. As long as you have a resistance or counter to incinerate, you should get through this fight quite comfortably. Alrighty guys, we are halfway there. This is going to be Bahamet, the second boss. So for this one, let's get it out of the way. Your best champions will be the ones that will have some kind of purify or shrug off, because he's going to apply incinerate whenever he throw that special one, and once you shrug that off, you are going to apply a volatility charge on him. So once you have a volatility charge more than 3, he's going to throw a blast, and in which you throw a special attack just like that. And with the special attack you get a removal charge, and with the knockdown you remove his celestial armor and you can do 100% of damage. I know it's might be a bit tricky to understand, but you can always check out my video when I did on Bahamet to explain it. So basically what you need to do in this fight is you need to keep eye on those on the cooldown just below Hulk's health bar. When it's near the cooldown, you stay near Bahamet so you can get a volatility charge that are the yellow ones. The goal is to get 3 of those yellow charges and then push Bahamet to a special attack. When he throws a special attack, preferably a special one, at the end of it he is going to throw a blast towards you. Now for that radiation blast you use a special attack within it, and that will give you a removal charge. Remember, the removal charge is very important for this fight. Once you have a removal charge, only with that charge you can remove Bahamet's celestial armor. So I just used a special attack and you see I got 2 removal charges. Now in this phase number 2, what I need to do is to return the blast from Bahamet to deal any kind of damage by removing the charge. So here is his blast. I have to use a heavy attack to return the blast on Bahamet, but I think I forgot that and I went for a special attack again, but that's okay. I got more of those removal charges. So step 1 is to get the removal charge by using a special attack in the blast. Step 2 is to use a heavy attack and return that blast. So we have the removal charges. Now we want to remove his celestial armor that shows in green underneath his health bar. So I'm gonna wait and push him to 3 volatility charges. Now he's gonna throw a special attack, and at the end he's gonna throw a blast. So I'm just already charging my heavy, and then just like that I'm able to remove his armor, and for a few minutes the armor will be down and I can do all of that extra damage. So that is the name of the game with this boss. This is going to be your most annoying boss to deal with from all of the 4 ones, because you have an extra step of setup, but that's okay, you can get through it. Again, I'm still on the same phase, so what I'm trying to do here is to push him to again 3 volatility charges, so he can throw a special attack on me with he can throw a special attack on me with 3 volatility charges. Again, he's going to throw a blast. I'm going to use my heavy to knock him down and remove that armor. And now I can deal damage to him. 2 things you need to take care about. You have to alternate your specials. How do you alternate your special? Underneath your health bar, it will show you in a white circle, in a white icon, either 2 or 1. That is the last special attack you use, so you have to take care about that. Secondly, what will be your best champions? I would say anybody with shrug off will be good, because anytime you shrug off a debuff applied on you from Bahamet, you are going to give him a volatility charge. And the goal of this fight is to have a lot of volatility charges on Bahamet at the minimum 3. So after special attack, he is able to activate the blast. Now in phase 3, you will notice there is going to be some orange blasts. Those are going to be your heavy radiation blasts that you cannot reflect on the opponent. So you have to kind of evade them only. So right here, I should have used the special attack here because I did not have a removal charge on me. So that was a mistake on my part. If I want to reflect the blast, I need to have a removal charge on me first. And the way we get a removal charge is within the blast, I use a special attack. Not in the radiation blast, the regular blast, I use a special attack. So right now, I don't have removal charges. So my focus right now is get to a special attack before Bahamet triggers the special. So I can use a special attack within the blast. Now I did not have a special attack, that did not work out in my favor, but that's okay. Now I have a special attack ready, so I'm just gonna wait for Bahamet to get the third volatility charge. Now when he throws a special, I am ready, and I'm going to use my special attack, but that's a heat radiation one. I cannot do that. So sometimes the timings will be off and they could be super annoying to deal with. You might be cornered, but that's the way the game works, so you have to play around it. So here we are. I'm almost at 1 bar of power. Now I'm ready to go ahead and to get the removal charge here. So he's going to throw a special attack. After that, he's going to throw a blast, and I'm already throwing my special attack into it. And that is going to give me 3 removal charges. So now I don't have to worry about getting the removal charge or reflecting the blast from Bahamet. Again, he's going to throw a radiation blast. That's okay. I'm just cornered for now, just going to create some space while he gets a bar of power. At this point, the amount of debuffs you will apply for you will always have that volatility charges. So here we are, just charging my heavy, release the heavy, and then I remove the celestial armor, and now I can deal damage to him and take him down. So those are going to be phase 1, 2, and 3, and we'll be moving to phase 4 super quick. Now in phase 4, it's going to be super fun because now you get the ability to, so before in phase 3, you had the ability to return the blast to Bahamet. Now in phase 4, Bahamet will also have the ability to return the blast to you. So this becomes like a small ping pong game, but let's get to there before I explain that. Also remember, for Bahamet, avoid hitting him twice in the block because that is going to give unstoppable, and he's going to deal damage to you. So here we are again. I think he is almost down to phase 4, and here is phase 4, 10% health. This is going to be the tough one. When he will throw a radiation blast to you, you have to time your parry so you can reflect the blast on Bahamet, and then he might reflect it back to you. So it's like a ping pong game until he is knocked down, and you will notice that the total armor will be reduced. So parry, 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 and I missed it there. So you have to like really be on your parry game to remove on that ping pong game, so you can remove the armor. Right now the armor is at 85 and I'm not dealing any kind of damage to him. So I have to make sure that I do good on that blast return. And once Bahamet is knocked down, that means that his armor is reduced and he will take full damage and he will die. So let's check this out. He's gonna throw a blast. Parry, parry, parry. That was a mistake on my part because I could not get the timing right. So this is going to be the most annoying part for you on this fight, is the last phase. You have to wait out first 3 of those volatility charges, and when the charges are enough, then he's going to throw that blast. And once he does throw that blast, you should be able to parry on time and play the ping pong game and defeat him on it. Don't worry about the removal charge, you will have one permanent one. So parry, 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 parry. Now notice I've knocked him down. His armor before was 85, now it is down to 45 and he's taking more damage. So yeah, that is the name of the game. That is the last phase, phase number 4. If you still have any questions, you can check out my video, but this was my takedown. And trust me, Bahamet took me the longest because he is just annoying to deal with. But remember one thing, make sure that the first blast he sends you, every phase, you use a special attack to gain removal charge. And then on the next one, you can use a special attack or a heavy to knock down the opponent to remove that armor. So I hope this helps, guys, and we will start the next bunch of bosses, that is 8.3.1. Alrighty guys, if you have made up till here, that means you're halfway done with the Crucible. Now starts the third quarter of this crazy long quest. And the first fight is going to be against a Vulture. The difficult thing here is going to be electric defense and spaced armor. So because with the armor up, if you hit him you are going to get your power drained, and also you're going to take damage. So to counter that, just bring in cosmic champions that are immune to power drain or power lock, and you should be good. There are plenty of options now available that you can use. I remember back in the day when this node was new in Alliance War, it was quite difficult to deal with. And you can also use somebody like Dark Phoenix who has pulverize, so you can use that to remove the armor. Vulture has only one armor up, so if you remove the armor, you take away the electric defense and also the spaced armor. But there are plenty of options that are immune to power drain, and you can totally avoid the spaced armor and transducer. So I'm just using a gallon here, and just with the planetary mast and the special 2, I'm able to take him out quite comfortably in the end. Just be careful about the transducer node and you getting a miss, and you should be alright. So these are one of the few fights I cheesed in the Crucible. You noticed before that I took out a Nimrod with a long shot, so that was a crazy fight. With 1 SP2 I was able to take out. Now this one is going to be against a Gorr. Now whenever you are gonna hit Gorr, he's going to gain a lot of armors because of Civil War Zone. Then there's also Foresight here, but there's also Steady Preservance. So build up to a special 1 and wait out for the Steady Preservance to run out. That is very important, otherwise you will not be able to stun lock. Once the Steady Preservance stun immunity is finished, you will have enough armors, and now you can just simply lock Gorr. He is going to have a lot of those buffs, so you'll be able to take him down faster, because the way Ronan's sig ability works, the more buff they are on the opponent, the longer the stuns are going to be, and the more the damage you are going to do on your basic attacks. So this fight is going to be super quick with Ronan. I would suggest you to do that, but you can still use Mystic Champions if you don't have a Ronan. And for the record, I'm only using a 6-star rank 3 Ronan here. Fight number 35 is going to be an Omega Sentinel, tough as nails. I can do this all day. Boost buff, hard knock life, rich get richer, and defender bias. So if there is an armor on the opponent, you can either go ahead and armor break her, or when you apply a critical against her, those criticals are gonna do 0 damage and an armor will be removed. So again, any champion, anti-robotic champion, cosmic champion should work, should do the job. I'm just using a cosmic ghost rider, and I am just spamming my special 2s and deal all of that damage to Omega Sentinel. Pretty easy fight, to be honest. Both specials are easily evadable. As long as you can control the armors, you should be good. Just be careful about the auto block, and she is a robot, so your Medusas, your Arcuses, your Deathless Thanos, all of these champions work super well against Omega Sentinels. So you can bring them in, apply that armor shatter, and then she cannot gain any sort of armors, and should be an easy takedown from there on. Next up, we're going to have a Dormammu with brute force. So if you don't within 6 seconds, if you don't hit Dormammu, there will be a degen applied on you. There's also even punishment, so whenever you will parry the opponent, it will remove 1 debuff from Dormammu and 1 debuff from you. And there's also going to be fight and flight, so every 12 seconds there is going to be an unstoppable either on you or either on Dormammu. And because of that, if you parry during the unstoppable, because of even punishment, that will be removed and that will cause you to degen. Now, the fight is not really difficult. There's also Science Threat, so you get an extra fury on your Science champions. So bring on your best Science champions who have degen immunity, and you should degen resistance or immunity, and you should be good for this fight. I have just brought in my Spider Ham rank 6. I'm gonna use him. You can use your Deathless She-Hulks, Mr. Negative. You can also use champions that are immune to buffs, so that can also work out for you. Or you can use like somebody like Titania. You can also bring in Scorpion. So there are plenty of options that can be used. It's not really difficult. Just keep Dormammu to an SP1 and you should be good. For the special one, the first hit you just block and the second hit you're going to evade, and you can get through this fight. So any champion that is resistant to energy damage or degen should do the job for you. And next up is going to be Mr. Attuma. Now, he is going to be an annoying one to deal with because he's just a very tanky regular Attuma with redoubled determination. So the more debuffs you have on Attuma, the more power gain he's going to get. And because of the power gain, he's going to spam him specials more. And because he's going to spam him specials more, he's going to gain a lot more of those hydration charges. And more hydration charges means more trouble. So I'm using a Negasonic here. In hindsight, I think a Shock champion would have been better because he has Shock vulnerability as well. So if I've brought here somebody like Shuri or somebody like Black Widow Deadly Origin or like even a Scorpion, that would have been a much better choice here. But then again, it's alright. I've used the Negasonic. It took a little longer, but I was able to kind of use that. So a big tip here is if you're going to use Negasonic, build up your SP1 and throw that out, because that's going to apply a bunch of incinerates and remove those hydration charges. Otherwise, it's going to take a little while because he goes immune to incinerate after 10 hydration charges. So easier way is to bring a Shock champion and it would be a much better fight. Fight 38, Mephisto is up with Decisive Strike, Striker Vulnerability, Perpetual Motion, Dauntless, Limber, and also Defender Bias. So every time you stun, the duration of the stun will be decreased, and also there is going to be Striker Vulnerability. So you definitely need a Striker for this fight. Now, the best champion, of course, is going to be Void. He's Incinerate immune, and he also has Petrify. He can control the power. And just make sure that you bring in a 6-star relic so you can get your relic charges faster. Now, I've given you some other options that you can use. All of them can work because all of them are Incinerate immune, and they give you enough opportunity to stand against Mephisto and play. Just make sure one thing, try not to push him to an SP3, and you should be good there. I think my favorite option is Doom, and after that Anti-Venom is a good option as well because of the reverse region that he can do. But all of these options can work. You just have to play slow and make sure that you keep the Petrify up on him, and the Incinerate immunity will help you against him, and you should be able to take him down quite comfortably in the end. Alrighty, now we have Venompool, who is super fun. Now, there is one window of opportunity stun, so for the first 15 seconds, you cannot parry him because he will reflect the parry. You can see that with the stun icon with the cooldown. As soon as it goes on cooldown, now we can easily parry him. Now, another thing is that he is also taking extra damage on stun, so when the window of opportunity stun shield is down, try to parry him and do some damage, but keep an eye on that. When the red shield is down, you're good to go. There's also Rust and Ruin, so whenever you will attack him, or whenever the Venompool will attack you in your block, or you will parry him, he will apply an armor break on you. And armor break, literally feeds Absorbing Man. So Absorbing Man is kind of a perfect counter here, kind of a cheese for this fight. So yeah, just bring in any champion that is immune to armor break, and you should be good. You should be getting through this fight quite easily in the end. Just take care of the window of opportunity stun and you're good to go. Keep him to an SP1 only. With the SP2, wait for his animation to finish. Otherwise, if you interrupt that, he gains power. And the next step we're going to have is a Venompool. Now, Venompool has polka dot power, so you will need champions that can apply debuffs for you to gain any kind of power. There's also going to be Chum the Water, so whenever you are going to evade Anti-Venom, he's going to apply a bunch of debuffs on you. So a champion that can remove those debuffs is going to work really well too. And there's Hard Knock Life, so dashing back twice is going to apply disorient on you. That is going to reduce your ability accuracy, but that's okay, you can shrug it off as well. And Whittle Down, you will need at least 3 debuffs on the opponent to deal him 100% of damage. Otherwise, your damage dealt is reduced by 60% in total if there is no debuff on the opponent. So basically, you need a champion that can purify debuffs and also apply debuffs on the opponent. So that's mostly your skill champions like Elsa Bloodstone, champions like Nick Fury, Black Cat, Blade, Mole Man, Chilth. All of these champions, Kingpin, all of them can work for this fight, but I find Elsa Bloodstone to be super chill and to be the best one with all the criticals and all the cold snap damage. So I brought her in and she did a great job on it. So Null is going to be a difficult fight if you don't plan for him in the beginning. The nodes are going to be Power Efficiency, Retaliate, Long Distance Eternity, Cold Turkey, and Limber. So with Power Efficiency, he's going to throw his specials more often because he will reduce less power for the specials, and every now and then he will go Unstoppable and Unblockable. with his SP1s if you allow him to throw that. And then there is long distance eternity. And for them to remove, you have to play near null. So when you're far away, all the buffs are going to be paused. And when you're near null, all the buffs are going to start cooling down. So that is going to be the annoying part. So if you allow him to throw a special one and he gets unblockable and unstoppable, that is going to stick. And that makes this fight super hard. Now, the way you deal with it is to bring in champions who are kind of armor break immune, so that kind of helps you. And also, always push him to an SP2. Use parry 4-hit combos and try to use champions when Fate Seal, that will work super well, or Staggered, that can work well too. So, for example, champions like Wiccan is probably the best option for this fight. So is Absorbing Man. You can also Doom Cycle this one, but then you have to make sure that you keep pushing Null to an SP2. You can also use Rintra here. You can also use your Werewolf. Fight number 42 takes us to Thing, who is going to have stunning reflection with poison and incinerate. So if you bring in champions that have poison or incinerate, you can remove that stunning reflection, kind of like node 49 of the Alliance War. Apart from that, there is going to be foresight. So if you are able to intercept him, you can gain an extra fury to deal some more damage. There's Calcify as well. So bring in your champions that have easy access to poison or incinerate, so you can have a much better time. There are plenty of other options that other champions that can do that, but basically this is a glorified Thing fight that is going to be super tanky, and you just have to bring in poison incinerate champions to play around the stun reflection, and you should be good for this fight. So I am just going to use in my Scorpion, and I'm just trying to ensure the poisons are always there, so I can always keep the shield down, so it just feels like a regular fight. Yeah, for sure it will take longer because there's too much HP, but then again, Scorpion does work, and I'm able to take out Thing quite comfortably in the end. Another option that I can think of should work super well here is going to be your Elsa Bloodstone and your Immortal Abominations. And also Black Cat should do really well on this fight. Valkyrie should be another option. So there are quite a few options that can be used. The next one we're going to have is going to begin some Misty Knight. Now she's all about shrug-offs and evade, and because of the best defense, her evade accuracy will be increased, so you have to be careful about that. I would say the best way to deal with this fight is evade counters and or passive stuns, because those are going to like really help you control all the evade. Now I'm using an Onslaught here because he has those passive stuns and he's a very heavy attack dependent champion, so that kind of helps me out. And also he applies passive stuns on the defender, so I don't have to worry about the evade. Just be careful about the unblockable and just build up your Daunted, and then throw an SP2 when ready. and that should deal quite a bit of damage and take out Misty Knight for you. Not really a difficult fight. Any champion that can passive stun and deal with the evade should be good for this one. Not the best player with Onslaught, but that kind of worked out for me anyway. I was able to take out Misty Knight quite comfortably in the end. So this next fight, Wong, I think this is the toughest defender on 8.3 because there is so much going on. There is so much unstoppable with third law. There's also defender bias with heavy, and also he is going to gain all of those charges when you do energy damage, and when he's at 90 charges you have to knock him down. And if you let him throw a heavy attack, he's going to gain power, and then he deals a lot of damage with unblockable SP2, so it gets too much. So how do you deal with him? The way you deal with him is control his power. If you can control his power and knock him down when when the research reaches to 90, you are able to get through this fight. Again, it's not really an easy fight. It won't be that comfortable, but you can be able to get through it. Now, the best thing about Count Nefaria is that he is a tailor-made counter for this one because he can control the power gain of the opponent and he can reverse that and he can throw those SP2s to deal damage. One thing I would say, if you're not using a champion that is immune to buffs, I would say do not kind of evade the last part of the specials ones from Wong. Always try to block them. Even I think I tried to block the SP2 as well, and those unstoppable will come in without any reason annoying you. Just block the last part of SP1 and you should be good. I've given you plenty of options, but all of those options work when you apply slow and you control his unstoppable, but then you also have to control his power. So just be wary about that this fight is going to be a bit annoying, might take you a couple of revives if you don't bring in the right champion, but the fight is quite doable. And yeah, just be careful about the last hit of Wong. Don't get any buff on you because that can be nullified to get unstoppable on Wong. And yeah, you should be good. Power control champion is the way to go. So next up is going to be a Bishop. Now Bishop is quite easy to deal with. The nodes are Burnout, Grudge, Root or Rooted or Striker Vulnerability. So make sure that you bring in a Striker. And to be honest, bring any champion that is Incinerate immune and you should be able to get through this fight. Preferably bring a champion that is Incinerate immune and can do physical damage and maybe block unblockable specials, but that's okay. You can just keep Bishop to an SP1 and block it out and you should be good. I'm just using an Ironheart here. Now Ironheart, whenever she has an armor up, she can block unblockable specials. So I'm just using that to my advantage. And whenever you will have a Striker, use that because that is going to deal a lot of damage to the defender. And all in all, a pretty straightforward, easy fight. Just make sure you bring in the right counter and you should be good. Fight number 46 is going to be against a Quicksilver with Warpath, Clean Sweep, Critical Interruption, and E Fluctuations and Immovable Object. So this fight is all about controlling Quicksilver's debuffs that are applied on you. and also controlling his evade, and the fight is typically yours. Kind of like any Quicksilver fight. I just brought in a Kate Bishop, and with her Cold Snap, I'm able to control Quicksilver quite easily, so he's not able to evade me, and that sets the tone for the rest of the fight, just keeping him to an SP1, and that helps me take him out. You can use other champions, giving you a bunch of options. So empty evade champs will be needed. You control the evade and you will control the fight. Purifying and shrugging off will help against the whiplash debuffs, and steadfast debuff buff will give you against unblockable specials, but you won't really need it if you play it right, to be honest. And the final fight before the Cerastes boss is going to be a Havoc. Now that is going to be Scrap Wars, Fractured Guard, Armor Assault, and Cosmic Ascendancy. Now you are supposed to bring in Cosmic Champions here and apply Armor Breaks on Havoc, because whenever you will apply Armor Break on Havoc, you will gain an armor for yourself. So the fight is designed that way, and it also gives you 40% extra damage if you are going to bring in a Cosmic Champion. But this fight is too good not to use Future Ant-Man, because even though you get minus 40% penalty on your tech champions on Ant-Man, is just crazy here. So all you need to do is to land a few intercepts and build up your armors, and that kind of protects you if Havoc goes for a 5 attack combo and he's stunned, and also you throw out like big SP2 damages. So they're really fun fight against Future Ant-Man. Really enjoy it. I've given you quite a few cosmic options that you can use, but if you have a Future Ant-Man, I think this is probably the best fight in the whole of Crucible to use him on. Even though you have a 40% penalty on attack, he just literally destroys Havoc. I've seen this fight being done by the Cosmic Ghost Rider. I've seen this fight done by Medusa, and also Carl Obsidian, and even Angela. So all of those champions work against Havoc. As long as you are applying all of those armor breaks and getting armors for yourself, you should be good. And you have made to boss number 3, that is going to be Cerastes. Now here your best options are going to be champions that have a lot of unique buffs, so they will work the best here. So Venom is one of those examples. You can also use somebody like Angela. Odin has a lot of setup. I would not advise to use him, but yeah, you can just use pretty much any cosmic champion. You should be good, but try to use a cosmic champion that has a lot of unique buffs, because that is going to help you. Now the way this works, if you notice on the top right corner, you are going to start the fight with 3 armors. The goal of the fight is to reduce all of those 3 armors down to 0, so Cerastes is wounded and you can do 100% damage. Now there are 3 ways you can remove the armor. You can either use a striker that will remove one type of armor, and you can use a knockdown with a heavy attack that is going to remove the second type of armor, and the third one is going to hit in blocks that you can just attack Cerastes after a special attack, because he auto blocks you. But remember, only use one hit and block, otherwise you're going to give the opponent extra armors. So here we are. So what I like to do for this fight, I usually go for 5-hit combo, ending up with the striker into a heavy. So let's do that here right now. Striker into heavy, and now wait for the special attack. Dex, go back in, and there we go. And I just keep rinse and repeating that loop, and until all the armors are broken, and I am able to send Cerastes into a stunned wounded states, and I can deal all of that damage. Now all of those armors are back. Again, striker, knockdown. I'll wait for a special attack here, and I'm gonna go back, hit only once, and we're gonna rinse and repeat that. So I'm gonna wait for a 5-hit combo. As soon as our striker is ready, striker, heavy, evade, hit and block. Rinse and repeat that. Again, striker, heavy, now wait for a special attack, evade, hit and block, and there we go. So you just keep rinse and repeating that no matter what is going to be the phase. Once the phase is over, he will go in overdrive and you have to intercept him to push him on to the next phase, just like this. And the difficulty in phase 3 is going to be that it's going the number of armor ups are going to be different in for every armor, the charges, so you have to like alternate your pattern, but that's okay, that's not really gonna matter. The only problem is when you try to remove the same armor twice, it will go in overdrive. Like right now that you notice the hit and block went into overdrive, so you have to make sure you don't repeat the same action twice in a row, otherwise that's going to be trouble. So now what you need to do, you need to reset. So again, wait for the 5 hit combos, and in phase 3 when he goes in stun immune, you can just simply wait for him to throw a basic attack now into a striker. That messed up my combo again because he's gone unstoppable because of the overdrive in the armors. So you have to make sure that you don't push him to an overdrive. So here we are. Again, SP1 evade, hit and block once, and we're good. I'm just gonna throw out my special 2 because I just want to drain my power. So again, here's a striker into heavy. That's 2 armors. Evade the SP1, hit once and block, and you're good. You rinse and repeat that. Get to a striker, use a heavy, let him throw a SP1, hit in the block, and you're good to go. And you keep repeating that, and you will notice that you will armor break him so often, and with the striker and with the specials you will do so much damage, and you can easily bring down Stress to his final phase, that is going to be phase 4, that starts at 5%. So before we jump in, let me show that again. Striker into heavy, SP1, hit in the block. Same pattern over and over. No matter what is the phase, just be careful about stun immunity in the last phase. Again, striker into heavy, evade, hit and block. And again, striker into heavy, and boom, 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 into the block. Now I just need to knock him down because only 1 armor is not removed, and just before we know it, he's down to phase 4. Now here, first I have to intercept him to push him into the next phase, and as soon as you push him into the next phase, you don't have to do anything, you just have to keep away from him. He's going to be unstoppable and everything. Just evade the specials and wait for him to get down to 0, and then you can just hit him in the block twice, and he is going to just die with like 1,000,000 or whatever damage. So right here, he's intimidated. I just need to hit him in the block. I forgot about that. I was trying to evade, but then here I am. I hit him, and with 100,000 damage, he dies. Alrighty, we are in the final stretch of this Crucible, and the first fight in 8.4 bosses is going to be Aegon with next to Godliness, 2 to Tango, combo up, finisher, and also gifted with ability accuracy. Now this fight is going to be annoying. As soon as you knock him down, he's going to go unblockable, and that is going to be super tough to deal with. Now the absolute best champions that work here are going to be champions with grit or some kind of slow, and that they will be able to take out Aegon. Now I've given you quite a few options, but if you ask me personally, my best options will be Dust and Danny Moonstar. These will be the best options I would go for. Shield, they will be great. So with Dust, what I've done, I built up to an SP3, and this will give me grit. Now with the grit, I don't really care if he is going unstoppable, because I'm going to deal my damage and the grit will counter the unstoppable. So here we are with an SP2, knocked him down, another SP2, should have gone in for another SP2, but I was just surprised I still got so much power, but that's okay. Another SP2, and just like that, Aegon is down with the final SP1 with that 99 prowess. Does this literally rinses this fight. Next up is going to be an America Chavez. Now, America Chavez here, you need buffs to do any kind of damage to her, but that's all right. You were going to gain buffs anyway because of the node Rising Sun. But remember, after 10 Furies, you will start getting degen on you. So you have to make sure that you knocked on the opponent and you can remove those degens. But if you're using a champion that is degen resistance or has a lot of resistance for energy, you can simply just keep hitting the opponent. Now I am using a photon here, and I am every now and then just knocking her down and keeping America Chavez to SP1. And once I have my pure light form, I can go a bit more aggressive and not worry about the degen because that's not going to deal much damage. Now you can also deal with this fight with champions that have like chaining heavy attack. So you can use a Wasp, you can use a Deathless Thanos, but I wouldn't recommend him because America Chavez is Mystic. You can use champions like Doom. All of these champions work because you can straight away use a heavy attack and remove all the extra fury so you don't get any kind of degen. But I would say the better option is going to be Photon, Spyroham, Deathless She-Hulk, Human Torch. All of these options will work much better here. Just make sure that you have 3 buffs on you that you will get anyway because of the Pumping Iron. Because of the Pumping Iron and Foresight and Rising Sun. So yeah, pretty easy, straightforward fight. Keeping her to an SP1 and you should be good. Now, Howard the Duck is going to be the next fight. It was pretty funny. The nodes here are going to be light them up, so he will take extra damage when there is Incinerate on Howard the Duck, and also there is 0 to hero, so he is going to gain unblockable and indestructible. But for them to run out, you have to be near Howard. If you're far away, the cooldown on them just stops. Also, if you notice, there is a cooldown with Buster Groove, so every 10 seconds he will go with basic attack evade, and it will cycle between basic attack evade and miss on the special attack. So essentially what you need to do here is to build up your special attacks during the evade phase with basic attack, build up your special attacks with basic attacks during the miss phase, that is right now, and once you go into evade phase, that when you parry and you throw your special. I got it the other way around and I really struggled. It took me quite a bit of time to take down, but then Kushala is just great with all of her damage and all the Sobab I was able to take out. And I was so tired at this point, my brain wasn't working. I could have just easily blocked the unblockable specials with Kushala, and this would have been a much easier fight. But then again, it happens when you're tired, so what you need to do is to apply those incinerates and nullify the armors when the evade phase is up, so you don't miss your special attacks. And when the miss phase is up, just use your basic attacks to build up your special attacks, and you should be able to get through this fight a bit comfortably. There is going to be a node for light 'em up, so when you do apply incinerate, you will take extra damage. So your incinerate champions are probably going to be the best ones. Your shock champions also will light them up, will deal some extra damage. So bring them up. I've given you quite a few options. You can use any one of them. Fight number 52 is going to be a Professor X with faltering mind and arrogance, arms race, compelled dude, and powerful. So you cannot manipulate his power. You cannot power drain him. Also, whenever he will throw a special attack and you're nearby, he is going to root you with compelled duel. And there's arrogance and faltering mind. So the duration of the falter that he applies is increased. So basically, you just need a champion that can deal with falter or that can deal with miss, and you're good to go. So your basic counters are going to be your Prowler, Omega Sentinel that I'm using. There's also Ironheart. You can also bring in Cap Sam, Cyclops. So the regular counters are there that are for you to miss, and you just bring them up and you should be good. Keep your distance when Professor X is throwing a special, just to avoid the unblockable and then also rooted at the same time. But other than that, it's a pretty easy and straightforward fight, nothing too difficult. You just have to play around the falter with an anti-miss and you're good to go. Next up is Black Cat. Now Black Cat is going to have Bob and Weave, so you have to make sure that you evade her to put that in cooldown. And there's also Palette Cleanser, so whenever there is a power bar gained by the defender or the attacker, that gives a purified charge to the defender, so you have to worry about that. And also there's going to be power creeps every time she is going to purify any debuff. Her power gain accuracy is going to increase. You will gain more power. To be honest, pretty straightforward fight. Just bring in any mutant champion, you should be good. I just murdered her with the Domino. If you want to be more safe, you can bring in a champion that has an access to evade counter, and you should be good for this fight. Fight number 54 brings Icarus with Occult Immunity, Slap Me Not, Mystic Focus, The Floor is Lava, and also Mystic Ascendancy. So basically, it's a very regular Icarus fight, nothing too difficult about it. Just keep him to an SP1. I'm using a Werewolf by Night who has a slightly different kind of playstyle that I can just hit in the block, I can gain all of that power. But you can use champions that have kind of buff immunity. So the whole thing is that, you know, he's going to have that extra power gain with all of those power gain rate increase buffs. So if you can nullify them, you can get through the fight. To be honest, not really difficult. Kushala can work here, Juggernaut can work here, Hood can work here, plenty of options. You just have to use a special before the sting detonates on you. And yeah, that's about it. Keep him to an SP1 and you should be able to get through this fight quite comfortably. Icarus is not really a difficult defender. Alrighty, fight number 55 brings our tanky old Sasquatch. Now, apart from being Sasquatch, he is going to have the node that we have in AQ. every I think 12 or 15 seconds there is going to be a protection on Sasquatch, and you can remove those protections by either using a medium attack or a heavy attack or a special attack. So you have to keep an eye on that. On top of it, Sasquatch is super duper tanky. There's also Dazed and Confused, so if you parry him twice in a row or before the cooldown is down out for parry, you're also going to get miss on you with Vulture. So what I like to do, I don't even parry him, I just wait for him to hit me in the block, and when he throws a heavy attack, I go and punish. I am using Luke Cage here. Now Luke Cage is perfect against Sasquatch because he has scaling damage with the number of exhaustions you have on the opponent, and another good thing is going to be Sasquatch is not going to gain his crazy charges where he goes into frenzy because of exhaustions. So Luke Cage is probably the best counter. You can also use Spidey 2099, he can work as well. I'll give you plenty of other options. It's going to be a slow fight because he's very tanky, but you should be able to take him down. Just a big piece of meat, that's all. And number 56 is going to be Emma Frost with Power Surge, High Energy Diet. So you have to use champions with only physical damage. You not use champions with energy damage because that is going to be all healed back up. There's also Bub and Weave, so you can stay away from Emma Frost, either intercept her or dex her to remove that, otherwise she will crit in the blocks. And there's going to be immunity to armor break, so you cannot armor break her. She will constantly stay in diamond form if her power bar is below you, so you be careful about that. Most of your champions, they can easily work against her. Most Rupture champions can work. Just be careful about the reverse controls. I'm using a Juggernaut who's like a perfect counter to Emma Frost. But if you're going to use another champion, just make sure that you know how to deal with the reverse controls on the special one. And apart from that, it's a pretty easy and straightforward fight. You can also cheese this with Ebony Maw, although it will take forever, but you can leave Ebony Maw just there and she'll keep missing and degening, and you can go for a shower. Next up is Valkyrie. I should have brought in a better counter, but the nodes are going to be Turn the Tide. So after every cooldown, there is going to be a special attack assigned to you. Only that special attack will deal damage to the opponent. The others will not. There's also Power Shield, so your only special attacks will deal damage to the opponent. Your basic attacks will not. And then there's Escalating Pierce and Combo Up. So basically the whole concept of the fight is that you do not parry Valkyrie, because if you parry, you take a lot of damage, but you only use specials. So you have to use champions that can kind of have unblockable or assisted intercepts that can get that entry to hit Valkyrie without even parrying her. So for example, your Elsa Bloodstone, your Shang-Chi with the unblockable. You can even use a Valkyrie against a Valkyrie because you're going to hit in the block and you can gain power. And then you can throw the special attack while she's open, so there's that way as well. Same goes for your Yelena. Actually, you can use Yelena because she can reduce the pierce effects, I think. So she would be good. You can also use somebody like Mr. Sinister. He should work here because all you need to do is just any kind of damage that you receive from crits is going to be healed back, so Sinister can be a good option. You can also go for the Serpent With the serpent, just you can keep hitting in the block, and once you get enough power, you can throw that special on the right number on the turn the tide, and you should be good for this fight. Anybody when unblockable, like Hulkling can also work. Assistant Intercept, Kate Bishop, Elsa Bloodstone, all of these champions can work super well. I honestly wish they kind of bring Kingpin as a 7-star. The dude is just such an amazing nuts champion. Anyway, the defender is going to be a Terex with the foreseen consequence, prey on the weak, stand still, hazard shift. So he's going to apply debuffs on you that you can easily kind of shrug off and use them to your advantage. And Terex himself supplies a lot of debuffs, so that makes it this fight a perfect candidate for champions that can remove the debuffs. Other than that, you can also use champions that can remove armor breaks. Somebody like Wiccan will be really good here because you cannot armor break him, and also on his SP1 you can heal back all the damage that you've taken, that is energy. Same goes for your Absman. He's amazing for this fight. Also for Kushala can block the unblockables, and she's also amazing. You can do the same. You can pretty much achieve the same with Werewolf by Night. You just have to run out the shield, and then 1 or 2 specials should be enough. So there are plenty of options that you can use, and you can control the fight. Not really a difficult one, to be honest. Alrighty, Omega Red next. This fight requires a robot champion, otherwise you won't be able to get this fight done. If you notice, there is a Degen grayed out icon underneath the health bar, and it has a few numbers on it, and there's a cooldown on the left. So you have to corner Omega Red, and while you corner Omega Red, that Degen timer will start. The Degen counter will start going down. You have to make sure that you remove all of those counters before the Degen timer is over. Otherwise, you get a Degen on yourself that literally takes away half of your health. So yeah, so you have to just play a regular Omega Red fight with that added Degen timer that only is removed while you corner Omega Red. So yeah, that is going to be the whole element of this fight that is required for learning. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward one. Right now it's down to 2 charges. As soon as I make it down to 0, now it's green. Now I have to move away from the wall before I throw a special attack, because if I throw a special attack inside the wall, he's going to get unstoppable with the backboard brawler node. So you have to be careful about that. This fight can be super annoying to deal with, but if you bring in just robot champions, you should do just fine. Up we're going to have a spot, and now it's my mistake that I brought in a low sig crossbones because I wasn't able to keep the furies long enough to get through this fight. Now if I was doing this fight again, in hindsight I would bring in a different champion. The nodes are going to be roughshod, insult to injury, blood and water, empowered immunity, and poison immunity. I've given you quite a few options. Anybody with an anti-miss will work super well here. So you can go in with a Deathless Thanos should work here. They should also, Nick Fury should also work there, to be honest. Anybody that can counter the miss. And also, if you can find somebody that has a counter to Rupture, you should be good as well. But all in all, I would say champions with Shrug Off is the better way to go. So you can literally counter everything there. I really did struggle with this fight and I barely got him down in the last 1%. But then again, you can bring in a better option, you can take him out. I would say you can just bring in a regular anti-miss champion, you should be good. But if you ask me the perfect counter, it would be a skill champion that can do the shrug-offs and still deal with the miss. So I can think about Kate Bishop. I think she will do really good here. But I've already used Kate Bishop somewhere else. So yeah, you just have to play around the mechanics of spot. Now next up we have a Spider Supremes. I want you to understand this is a regular Spider Supreme fight where you deal extra damage if you use a heavy attack. And if you dash back twice, you're going to get degen damage from no retreat. But the first time I went in, I did not check the no retreat and the heavy attack node, and I just keep dashing back. And I wasn't worried about him going invisible because Spider-Man 2099 is buff immune. And also he goes unstoppable when he throws a special attack. So because I didn't read the nodes, I died the first time. But the second time I went in, I was ready for it. And I understood that I have to just parry, throw my heavy attack and create the distance. I don't have to worry about him going invisible because I don't gain any kind of buffs. And if I dash back, I have to wait it out. So yeah, it kind of worked out for me. I was blocking more and then it was much easier to deal with. I just have to be careful about the heavy attack that is going to be unstoppable. And yeah, there are plenty of different options I've given you. It's more about throwing your heavy attacks. Be careful with that. Buff immune champions will work. Miss counters will also work. Just you don't have to dash back much. Just be careful about the no retreat timer. and also use your heavy attacks more because they deal some amazing amount of damage. Now, Captain America Sam Wilson is going to have energy adoption ice node, so if he's not armor broken, he is going to apply cold snap on you. There's also debuff synthesis, so if you do have an armor break applied on Captain America Sam Wilson, and if you stun him or parry him, that is converted into cold snap that deals quite a bit of damage to Captain America. There's also crack in the armor, and the most annoying node is going to be give me shelter. So there's 90% chance he is going to auto block your basic attacks, and that is reduced for every unique buff that you have on you as an attacker. So you have to play around that. I just brought in Serpent, although he does not have armor break, but what he does have is he's immune to your cold snap, so I don't have to worry about the node energy adoption eyes that can deal me the most damage. All I'm trying to do is to use parry and heavy or hit only during stun, and then throw my specials into the wall while he's blocking for the unblockable, and I'm eventually, slowly but surely, able to take out Captain America Sam Wilson. A better strategy would be to bring a champion that has easy access to armor breaks. So for example, Deathless Thanos, your Medusas, all of these champions will be much better to get through on this fight. Just be careful about the auto block, gain as many buffs as you can to avoid that, and you should be good for this fight. And the final fight before the boss is going to be a Jessica Jones. The nodes are going to be Dawn and of Intensity. That is going to be a similar node to the AQ, but instead of gaining protection, Jessica Jones will gain Fury. So you have to use a medium, heavy, or special attack as per the prompt to remove those Furies and keep the damage down. There's going to be Hurt Locker, so you have to alternate your specials. You cannot use the same special attack twice in a row because that is going to give you a blast, and that's going to take away half of your health. So be careful about that. There's also Striker Vulnerability. So if you use a Striker, she takes extra damage with the Striker Vulnerability, and then he has Poison Immunity. So make sure that you play around that. The easiest way to deal with this fight is either bring in champions who hit in the block, or bring in champions that can take care of the Unstoppable, and the rest is quite easy. I've given you quite a few options like Valkyrie, Shang-Chi, and then you have Baron Zemo with 2 SP2s. He can stop the Unstoppables. Then you have Shield also. To be honest, anybody with a slow should be able to get through this fight relatively comfortably. So yeah, it's more about dealing with the Unstoppable than it is about anything else. And make sure that you are using the right prompt to keep the Furies down. And yeah, you can get through this fight, and we can move on to the boss, the final one, that is Glyphon. And we are finally at the boss, 63 fights later. So when you start this fight, what you need to do is to build up prowesses by doing specific actions. So one of the action is hitting Glyphon with a light attack in the block. Second one is to parry. Then there's also to use a striker, and then there's also to use a special attack. So the way this works, Glyphon will only take damage when you are punishing his heavy attacks or special attacks. So let him throw a special attack here. We're going to evade, and now if we hit him, that is going to be a damaging string. So the idea is that you wait his heavy attack or his special attacks out, and then in that string you use strikers and stuns to prolong it, and you also gain furies while you apply those divine punishments. And because of all of those extra prowesses, you can do some big special damage. So the whole concept of the fight is evade the specials or trigger the heavy, and then punish them with your 5-hit combos. You can extend them with stuns, you can extend them with strikers, and at the end of the day, at the end of it, throw a big special attack that is going to deal some massive damage. Now Storm is by far the best champion for this fight, as you know, if you've done this fight before. So keep Storm for the end of it, and you should do super well. Once you get to the end of the health at 1%, he's going to shed his armor and he's going to come back with full health, and this is going to be phase 2. The difference from phase 1 to phase 2 is that Glyphon is not going to throw a special attack until he gets to 2 bars of power. You gain prowesses the same way. You hit in the block with your light attack once to get punishment, and then you can also use your parry. You can also use your special attacks. You can also use your striker. I pretty much never kind of intercept and ignore that. So once you get 2 bars of power, he's going to throw a special attack randomly. It can be an SP1 or an SP2. If it's an unstoppable icon that you see underneath the health bar of Glyphon, that is going to be an SP1, just like that. And you can evade that and you can go back on it. But if you see unblockable like this, that means that's an SP2. So there are 2 different dexes of it. If you need more information on it, check out my video. Just go into YouTube and write MCOC Glyphon and it will just come up. So yeah, that is for section 2. Just build up your prowesses, get to special attacks and throw them out, and those big damage will really help you take out Glyphon and push him to phase 2. Again, after SP2, I just went in and retaliated. Here again, after SP1, punishing string, 5-hit combo into a striker, and then into another SP2 that pushes him to 1% and pushes him to phase number 3. Now in phase number 3, the punishments are already active. Now whenever you will apply the punishment, they will be removed instead of being applied. Also, whenever there will be a special attack, you will be rooted. Also, whenever he will throw a heavy attack, you will be rooted. Now, the timing on evading the heavy attack and the special attack is a little different while rooted. You just have to wait like half a second later before you do that. But then the rest of the things are same. Punish after a heavy attack or a special attack, and then that can be a damaging string. You can extend them with your strikers or your stuns, and yeah, that will deal damage. Throw big specials in the end, and you should be able to work around different phases of Glyphon. One thing to remember though, if you overshot on one of the punishments of Glyphons, for example, if you apply too much, like 3 punishments and you go for the 4th, there is an evade charge that a Glyphon gets, and that removes all of your prowesses and evades you. But don't worry, that is not there for phase 3, that is only for phase 1 and 2. But and again, make sure to check out my video and you have a better idea what I'm talking about. So here we are, 2 bars of power ready with Glyphon, just waiting for the heavy attack, then right into a big SP2. Look him down, he's down to 47%. Again, waiting for the SP1. I like keeping him to an SP1. Is much easier to evade and is much easier to deal with, and the openings are much more easier to get in. If there's an SP2 here with the unblockable, I will not be able to evade within the route. So in this phase 3, keep Glyphon to an SP1 and your life would be much more easier dealing with that. So waiting on the last special attack, and here we go. Big SP2 at the end of it, that should push him to phase 4. Now in phase 4 it was very simple. I just had to run out the indestructible and then do one damaging string, but I forgot about it and I died here. But I came back and I finished it up. So that was the whole Crucible legendary path. I'll come back with the other parts as well. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a comment, leave a like, and check out the Excel planner. And if you find anything wrong in this video, if the counters are not right, let me know in the comment section. I'll try to fix it up. I hope this video helps. There is going to be a very long timestamps within the description and the pinned comment. So check that out and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.